Hey, Tacsafe shooters, it's Dave Turley. I'm out here at Cowtown today. Got Aaron Aldridge with me on the camera. Appreciate it, Aaron. And one of our regular clients is out, Phil. Phil's going to be working with me today as we highlight some of the fundamentals of marksmanship. And we're going to talk a little bit about, some of you guys have requested some training videos on the 4-step draw, which is how we teach new shooters. We're going to be going over the 4-step draw. We're going to be doing a little bit of tactical reloads and empty or emergency slide lock reloads. So weather permitting, it's actually about 111 degrees out here when we rolled up. But just since we got here, you can see we have like a monsoon rolling in. So live video, we'll see what happens. Okay guys, walk with me. Phil has paced off 10 yards. Right here, Phil. Okay, the first thing we want to talk about, just like we do with every training session, is we want to talk about and review the 4 rules for firearm safety. So number 1 rule, all guns are always loaded, or we treat all guns as if they're always loaded. The second rule that we'll have is we always want to keep our trigger finger straight along the frame of the weapon until our sights are on target and we've decided to fire. So we want those 2 elements. Our sights are on target and we've decided to fire. The third rule that we observe is we never let the muzzle cover anything that we're not willing to destroy. Okay, we also call that the laser rule. And then of course the 4th rule that we observe all the time is be sure of your target and what's beyond it. That means we want to be sure of our target in the sense of identification. Is that target a threat? And if so, what is beyond that target? So is the gun, the answer is shooting a viable option, because whatever problem we're having, we don't want to make it worse if downrange is not safe behind that lethal threat. So the first thing we're going to start working on with Phil, and I know it's windy, bear with me, but we're going to demonstrate our 4-step draw. So Phil, when we draw out, we're simply going to have our support hand is going to come flat up against our torso. At the same time, our primary hand comes to our weapon. When my hand grabs onto the pistol, on my holster, this is a Safariland ALS. So this has got a retention device that's quite secure. So this weapon is not coming out of the holster until I release it with this thumb drive, just like so. So what's going to happen in position 1 of that 4-step draw is my left hand moves with my right, my thumb depresses that lever, and that weapon is ready to come up out of the holster. When I come to position 2, I'm simply going to clear the holster and I'm going to rotate that weapon out towards the target. And for the safety of the camera guy, I'm going to turn slightly to the left, Phil. So once that weapon comes up out of the holster, I simply bring it right up to my torso, and the slide is canted slightly away from my upper body. This way, if I have to fire the gun, I'm in the fight right now. Because we're good guys, we get ambushed. So I'm already reacting to whatever threat is going on around me, so I can fight from this position if I have to. You'll notice in this position, number 2, the muzzle has already cleared my support hand. Now I'll turn slightly back towards the front, and at this point, I simply bring both hands together directly in front of me to position 3, and this is called compress ready. My trigger finger is still high up on the frame, but at this point, my weapon is lined up actually right under my nose. And the way I tell folks is if I have to fight from this position, that weapon is oriented whichever way my nose is pointing. I'm in the fight right here if I have to. Position 4 is simply full extension. I come directly up to the target, and that's a full extension. Thumb's high grip, support thumb is forward alongside the frame, trigger finger is straight until my sights are on target and I've decided to fire. Now we're simply going to reverse that to go back to the holster. So I'm at 4, I'll reverse back to 3, reverse back to 2. Keep in mind my support hand is away from the muzzle and flat alongside my torso. And then when I go back to the holster, my trigger finger is well clear, and I'm going to look my way into the holster. Especially for newer shooters, we want you to understand the dangerous times are coming out of the holster and then also going back into the holster. So I ask all of our new folks and people that are dry firing at home, trigger finger along the frame, full extension, and then back, look your way into the holster, trigger finger fully away from the weapon in the holster, and then I go back in. Okay, Phil, any questions on that 4-step draw stroke?
No.
Come up on the 10-yard line, and your weapon should be empty right now, is that right?
It has a mag in it, but it is it.
Okay, go ahead and remove the mag and clear the weapon. So draw out. Every time we draw, we're gonna look towards that target, and we're gonna draw the weapon with the purpose.
Okay.
So draw the weapon towards the target. Good. If we have to be in the fight at this point, we can. So now we're gonna remove the source of ammunition from the gun.
It's empty.
And we're gonna do a visual and physical inspection of the chamber and the mag well. Go ahead and lock the slide back. Good. Chamber's empty, mag well is empty. Good. Okay, go ahead and release the slide forward. Now I simply want you to complete a four-point draw all the way up onto the target, and then we go back directly into the holster.
Okay.
Simply reversing that.
So back.
And we may have to take a weather pause. Does that look...